Okay, so Apple just dropped something absolutely massive. And honestly, I didn't see this coming, like, at all. We're talking about a decision that could completely change how you use your iPhone every single day. And trust me, this isn't just another boring software update. Apple, the company that practically invented doing everything themselves, has just partnered with Google to bring Gemini AI directly into your iPhone's core features. And yeah, that includes Siri. Now, before you click away thinking this is just tech jargon, stick with me because what I'm about to explain affects literally every single iPhone owner out there, and the implications are wild. This is Apple basically admitting something huge, but what exactly does that mean for you? Let me break it down, and I promise this gets really interesting. So here's the thing. Apple has been trying to build their own advanced AI assistant for years, right? They've been pouring resources into making Siri smarter, more capable, more human-like. But let's be honest here, how many times have you asked Siri something and gotten a completely useless answer? I know I have, countless times. Siri has been the butt of jokes for years now, and while Apple kept insisting they were working on improvements, competitors like Google Assistant and ChatGPT were just running circles around them. But now, Apple has done something completely unexpected. Instead of continuing to struggle alone, they've made a multi-year deal with Google to integrate Gemini AI into the iPhone ecosystem. And this isn't some surface-level partnership. We're talking deep integration, the kind that fundamentally changes how your phone's brain works. Now, you might be wondering, why would Apple, a company famous for controlling every aspect of their products, suddenly team up with Google of all companies? Well, that's where this story gets really fascinating, and it tells us something important about the current state of AI technology. The reality is that building truly advanced AI isn't just hard, it's insanely complex and expensive, and even a company with Apple's massive resources was falling behind. Google has been investing in AI for over a decade. They've got some of the brightest minds in the field, and their Gemini models are genuinely impressive. Apple's leadership clearly looked at the situation and made a tough call: either spend years trying to catch up while Siri becomes increasingly irrelevant, or partner with the best in the business and leapfrog the competition. They chose the latter, and honestly, I think that's a smart move, even if it hurts their pride a little bit. But here's what really matters to you as an iPhone user. What does this actually change? Let me paint you a picture of what this new AI-powered iPhone experience could look like, and trust me, it's pretty mind-blowing. Imagine asking your phone a complex question like, "Hey, what was that restaurant my friend mentioned in that email last month, and what were the photos I took near there?" With current Siri, you'd probably get some generic search results or a confused response, but with Gemini integration, your iPhone could actually search through your Gmail, cross-reference your Google Photos, understand the context of your question, and give you a real answer that actually helps. That's the difference we're talking about here, and it's massive. Google is calling this next phase personal intelligence, and that name is pretty accurate. This isn't just about voice commands anymore. It's about having an AI assistant that genuinely understands your life, your habits, your preferences, and can use all that information to help you in meaningful ways. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. Wait, doesn't this sound like a privacy nightmare? And look, that's a completely valid concern, and we need to talk about it. Apple has built their entire brand on privacy. They've run ads mocking other companies for collecting user data, and now they're partnering with Google, a company whose entire business model revolves around data collection. The contradiction is pretty glaring, right? But according to Apple, they're implementing strict privacy controls. You'll have to opt in before any of your personal data gets used by these AI features, and supposedly everything stays under your control. Apple insists that even though Gemini is powering the intelligence, your data isn't just being handed over to Google without your permission. Now, whether you believe that or not is up to you, but that's the official line. Personally, I think this is going to be a balancing act, and users will need to decide for themselves how much convenience is worth versus how much privacy they want to maintain. But let's get back to the exciting stuff, because the capabilities this partnership unlocks are genuinely impressive. Think about how you currently use Siri. You probably ask it to set timers, play music, maybe check the weather, basic stuff. But with Gemini's advanced neural models running the show, Siri is about to be something completely different. We're talking about conversational AI that can handle follow-up questions, understand nuance, reason through complex problems, and provide answers that feel like they're coming from an actual intelligent being rather than a programmed robot. For example, you could ask something like, I'm planning a trip to Japan next month. What should I pack based on the weather there and the activities I've been researching? Current Siri would probably just search the web and show you generic results, but Gemini integration Siri could analyze your search history, check weather forecasts, look at your past travel patterns, and give you a personalized packing list that actually makes sense for your specific trip. That's the leap we're talking about here, and it fundamentally changes what your phone can do for you. Now, here's something that really caught my attention. This partnership also means that iPhone users will start getting AI experiences that are similar to what Android users have had with Google Assistant for a while now. Apple has always prided itself on having the best user experience, but in the AI department, they've been falling behind for years. This deal essentially closes that gap overnight, and it means that whether you're on Android or iPhone, you'll have similarly powerful AI capabilities. That's actually kind of unprecedented, and it shows just how important Apple considers this technology. The company wasn't willing to let their ecosystem fall further behind, even if it meant making a deal that goes against their traditional philosophy of building everything in-house. And speaking of philosophy, this decision is being compared to some of Apple's biggest historic moves, like when they first adopted Google Maps or when they opened up iOS to third-party apps. Those were moments when Apple recognized that sometimes partnering or opening up their ecosystem actually serves users better than stubborn isolation. This feels like one of those moments, and I think in 5 years we'll look back at this as a turning point in Apple's approach to AI. But let's talk about the practical timeline here, because this isn't happening tomorrow. According to the reports, this integration is tied to upcoming operating system updates, and it'll probably roll out in phases. Some features might only be available in certain regions initially, and there's talk of potential subscription tiers for advanced AI capabilities. So if you're expecting to wake up tomorrow with a super intelligent Siri, you might need to be a little patient. But the fact that this partnership is multi-year means Apple is committed to this direction for the long haul, and the features will keep getting better over time. Now, I want to address something that some tech analysts have pointed out, and it's worth considering. By relying on Google for AI capabilities, Apple is creating a dependency on a competitor, and that could be risky long-term. What if Google decides to change the terms of the partnership? What if there's a falling out between the companies? What if Google wants to prioritize their own Android ecosystem over iOS? These are legitimate questions, and honestly, I don't think anyone knows the answers yet. Apple probably betting that by the time any of those scenarios become real issues, they'll have developed enough of their own AI capabilities to reduce that dependency. But for now, they clearly felt that the risk was worth taking to avoid falling even further behind in the AI race. Another thing that's interesting to think about is how this affects the broader tech landscape. We've got Microsoft partnering with OpenAI, Google building their own AI empire, and now Apple teaming up with Google. The lines between competing companies are getting blurrier, and it's all because AI is so incredibly difficult and expensive that even the biggest tech giants can't do it alone. That tells you something about just how transformative this technology is, and how much it's reshaping the entire industry. For regular users, though, what matters most is whether this actually makes your iPhone more useful. And based on what we know about Gemini's capabilities, I'd say the answer is probably yes. Being able to ask your phone complex questions and get actually helpful answers, having an assistant that can draft emails or summarize long articles, or help you plan your day with genuine intelligence, that's valuable stuff. It could genuinely save you time and make your digital life easier, which is kind of the whole point of having a smartphone in the first place. But I do think users need to go into this with their eyes open about the trade-offs. More AI capability almost always means sharing more data, even with Apple's privacy promises. You'll need to think about what information you're comfortable letting these systems access and make informed choices about what features you enable. The good news is that Apple is at least giving you those choices rather than forcing everything on by default, so you'll have some control over your own experience. As this rolls out, I'm really curious to see how people actually use these new capabilities. Will the average iPhone user take advantage of the advanced AI features, or will most people stick to the same basic commands they've always used? Will the privacy concerns slow adoption, or will the convenience factor win out? These are questions that will only be answered once millions of people start using this technology in their daily lives. What I can say is that this partnership represents a fundamental shift in how we should think about our smartphones. They're not just communication devices anymore. They're becoming AI-powered personal assistants that can genuinely understand and anticipate our needs. Whether that's exciting or scary probably depends on your perspective, but either way, it's happening, and it's happening fast. Apple's decision to integrate Google Gemini is just one piece of a much larger transformation that's happening across the entire tech industry. We're moving into an era where artificial intelligence is becoming deeply woven into every digital tool we use, and our phones are just the beginning. The companies that figure out how to make AI useful, trustworthy, and valuable to regular people are going to dominate the next decade of tech, and Apple clearly doesn't want to be left behind. So that's the big picture here. Apple has made a bold move that breaks with their traditional approach, but it's a move that could pay off enormously if they execute it well. Your iPhone is about to get a whole lot smarter, and while there are definitely some questions and concerns worth thinking about, the potential benefits are hard to ignore. This is one of those moments where the future of technology shifts in a real way, and we're all going to be part of that shift whether we realize it or not. I think it's